What's up, y'all? We got When You Break the Rules and Get Away with It video from Jimmy High Roller. It's been a minute since I reacted to him. We gotta check this out. And yeah, I know there's been a lot of controversy about like the rules in the NBA and how they changed the whole like thing where you can't shot fake and like jump into a defender to draw fouls anymore. So we're gonna check this out. Let's get it. Killer, bro.
Well, that sucks. Game is all tied up with seconds left on the clock,
right there.
and this kid pulls off every hooper's dream of knocking down a game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer, just to have it called off by the ref. And most basketball fans who saw this video agreed that this move was in fact a travel. As tragic as this call was, it was the correct one. But if this is a travel, then so is this, and this, and this, and this, and all of these. NBA players don't have to follow the rules. I mean, they used to, but they don't anymore. Because according to them, they don't have to. Today's video is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook.
Thank you.
Basketball season is set to tip off this week. The NBA and all...
Thank you very much.
...hits after placing a $5 wager. That's promo code Jimmy High Roller only at DraftKings Sportsbook. In 2019, on the Raptors' road to a championship, Kawhi Leonard hit one of the greatest shots in NBA history.
Yep.
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
That's insane, bro. That's insane.
A
The most emotion
20-foot
Kawhi
fadeaway
shown
buzzer beater
ever
over Joel Embiid to win
on the
Game
court.
7 in the second round of the playoffs. This shot has been cemented as a career-defining moment for Kawhi and the catalyst to one of the most legendary title runs in recent NBA history.
That was insane.
But it never should have happened. See, run the tape back. Right about here. 1, 2, 3 steps without ever dribbling the ball. Kawhi Leonard traveled on this play.
No way.
This should have been a turnover with 4 seconds left on the clock.
That's
How did the refs
crazy.
miss this call? This is Jason Phillips, 21-year
That's
vet as an
crazy.
NBA official.
That's crazy,
He's refed
bro.
over 1,100 games.
That's
He's
insane.
looking right at it. He must have just not seen Kawhi take an extra step, right? Or maybe he just didn't want to be the guy to call a travel on a mega superstar in a Game 7 of the playoffs. Either way, the call was
That's
missed
crazy.
and the Raptors
People-
now have a
so some
championship
people
banner
are-
hanging in their rafters.
have noticed
But
that.
this isn't the first,
Noticed that.
nor the last time a player has gotten away with
And that
breaking
seems
the
to have
rules
been,
in a
like,
crucial
controversy.
moment. This Stephen Curry
Like,
dagger in the
pretty
2019
controversial.
playoffs against the Rockets was a carry. You can see it right here. He dribbles, does a hop step while carrying the ball, then crosses over. This should have been a turnover. Or what about Devin Booker's game-winning shot in the 2020 playoffs against the Clippers? One of the highlights of his career. Well, that shot came off of a travel. Just look for yourself. 1, 2, 3 steps. Picks up his pivot foot. 4. Go back and look at some of the best displays of footwork and handles over the last half-decade, and you'd be blown away by just how many moves NBA players use on a consistent basis that involve traveling and carrying. It's shocking. At least from a fan's perspective, it is.
The NBA
but to the players,
NBA refs
this is
are
all part of
not
the game.
nearly
a few
as
months ago,
strict
a
as,
fan
like,
shared a clip of John Morant
college
conjuring
refs
up one
or
of the
high
most
school refs.
egregious travel
So,
and carry jobs
yeah,
you'll ever
holy
see.
travel,
And this
bro.
fan did not hold
Oh my
back,
goodness.
saying John
John
Morant
Morant,
carries the
bro.
ball on pretty much every possession, and it never gets called. Right below this post, Donovan Mitchell chimed in with 4 simple words. We all do it. And Mitchell is right. Nearly every single perimeter player in the NBA travels or carries a lot. Not in some inconsequential way, not every once in a while. It happens all the time, every game. Especially in ISO possessions where you'll see players bend and break the rules virtually every single time. Now these travels and carries are not to be confused with the zero step or gather step that has ran rampant over the last half decade. Popularized by James Harden, if a player times their gather step well enough, they can get away with an extra step on their way to a shot. Like this play right here, where Terry Rozier gathers the ball at the exact moment that he takes his gather step, which allows him to take 2 more steps without getting called for a travel. This also applies to most step back jumpers. Gather, 0 step, 1, too. We aren't talking about these moves.
Bro, this
We're
is
talking about
like-
moves like this.
This is
Morant
like
dribbles, takes
this
one
is like
step,
a
2
cheat
steps,
code right here.
3 steps, carries the
Travel.
ball, and then takes a 4th step before dribbling again and finishing at the rim. And you may think, this move right here, this is an outlier. But it's not. Moves like this happen
Carry.
virtually every other possession in the NBA. Take this play by Jordan Poole. He's coming off a dribble.
Yeah,
One
that's one
step,
thing I will
2
say
steps,
is I noticed
3
Jordan Poole
steps,
do this quite a
4
bit.
steps before he dribbles again. But wait,
He'll
he's not
do this
done.
type of stuff
He
quite a
burns
bit.
Jordan
He'll like
Clarkson on
carry the
in and
ball
out.
and
Dribbles,
stuff to
takes
get where
1
he
step,
wants.
2 steps.
He does this
3
a lot.
steps, 4 steps. That's 2 violations in the same combo to
That's
create
crazy.
space from his defender. This
That's
is an
crazy.
epidemic. But if everyone does it, then why should it matter? The game has changed. Clearly the refs don't care, so why should we? Well, this play by Kemba Walker. Walker's got Sadiq Bey on an island, so he hits him with a quick pullback to create space. This is fine. Walker's got separation and an open shot. But no, he takes 1, 2, 3, 4 steps while carrying the ball, forcing Sadiq to close out, and then he blows by him. As a defender, if you see the offense take 2, even 3 steps backwards, you know they have to commit to a shot or a pass. They have nowhere left to go, they've used all of their steps. But when the offense can just suspend the ball indefinitely and just take another step to blow right past you, how exactly are you supposed to defend this? It's the same general concept being used on most of these moves. Whether the player is using a 0 step, a pocket dribble, a hesitation, most of the time, these moves are breaking some sort of rule. And when the defense sees a player hold the ball like this, they know they can close out strong because they know the offense either has to shoot the ball or pass the ball.
Yeah.
Or at least they used to, before moves like this became perfectly legal in the NBA. And there lies the problem with players being allowed to use these moves in games. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, the league made an example out of Allen Iverson by having officials go out of their way to call carrying violations on him. Moves that by today's standards would be considered fairly simple and textbook were constantly being called as
They'd be
travels
considered
and
like
carries.
hesitation.
Just look at this call
They'd
right
be
here.
like hesitation dribbles nowadays. Don't you think? A carry back then would be like a hesitation dribble now. Basically.
Your head while you're dribbling the ball to half court when you think you should have got a foul. I mean, he does that every time down the floor.
He does that every time he puts it on the floor.
Yeah.
You see it? It's so insignificant that it's hard to even notice. But this move right here was called a
Hesitation,
carry back in 2001.
where he kinda, like, held
Here's
the
another
ball
clip
with
from the
his-
late 90s.
with the palm
and
of
just
his
listen
hand
to how
just
the
for, like, a
commentators talk
split
about
second.
Allen Iverson's game.
Yeah.
Look at that. Down the lane, put it off. Hendrickson with the rebound, puts that one in. Let's see if you can see this, John. Let's watch Allen Iverson with the ball handling and see if you think this is close to a carry. I mean, that. Look at that.
Hey man, those refs.
You can't make that move
They'd be
with
honored,
that
bro.
Again, by today's standards, what Iverson is doing here isn't even worth noting. In fact, in 2022, this is fundamental basketball. But 25 years ago, this type of ball handling was considered borderline street ball. These guys would have had a stroke if they saw what players today got away with. When you can bend the rules and even outright break the rules to manipulate the defense and score buckets, the game completely changes.
And see,
20 years
I don't
ago,
think
there
the
were only
refs are-
8
I don't
players in
think
the
the refs are
entire
gonna
league that
change
averaged
this
over
stuff,
23
you
points
know?
per game.
I don't
Every
think the
single
refs
one of
are
them
gonna become
were all-time
more
great
strict
players,
on-
and only 5 of them were
on,
perimeter players.
like, players'
Fast forward
handles
to
and stuff,
2021,
because-
and a whopping 22 players averaged
think
at
about
least
it.
23 points.
Just think about it for a sec. If the refs become more strict on players' handles, it takes away from how the game looks, right? And it takes away from like the flashiness of smaller players. And it also takes away from possessions, which taking away possessions means less points scored. And I think for the general public, for most people, they want to see offense, you know. Most people want to see players score, you know. They don't really care much for for teams that are able to play great defense, and unless you know the game, which there are some people that really know the game, but most people but I think the majority of people just want to see players score, you know? And I mean, you're seeing this with the 2021
points per game
average.
16 of them were perimeter players. Part of this is due to players simply being more skilled than their predecessors.
Look at how many guys
just as big of a factor is the fact that perimeter players get a lot more leeway with the rules these days than they used to. It's not like Tracy McGrady or Gilbert Arenas or Paul Pierce didn't have the handle to pull off these moves. It's that they simply weren't allowed to do these moves. Listen to how commentators believed this was a travel back in the late 80s.
Darwin Cook on Jordan, no chance. Oh, my. Oh, they're jumping in the stands. Now what?
See his left foot, I thought, moved.
Oh, no.
Imagine what some past all-time greats could have done if they were allowed to get away with what players today get away with. Here's a clip of Kobe putting on a footwork clinic without bending the rules. The fact that Kobe was so effective and so creative within the confines of strict rules makes it all the more impressive. The same could be said about Tim Hardaway, who patented his killer crossover in the 90s. Dude had defenders absolutely lost from a simple but effective crossover. Imagine what players like Hardaway, Marbury, Steve Francis, and Chauncey Billups could have done if they were able to take an extra step or two and hold the ball for a split second longer to break down the defense. A lot of these former players are justified in saying that the rules have been loosened so drastically over the last decade that they would have been even more dominant in today's game. So, if the players know they break the rules, why don't the officials seem to care, and why does the NBA allow this to go on?
Money.
Well, for one simple reason. It's exciting. Is there anything better than
what
a
I was
crossover
saying.
that sends a player flying 10 feet in the wrong direction? What's more exciting than a well-executed
That's what I was
hezzy that
saying.
makes a
Like, it's
defender
exciting.
look
You want to
absolutely
see guys.
foolish? Looser rules means more action. More action means more points. More points means more superstars.
Bro, this
More
is what I
superstars,
just
the
said.
more marketable the product is.
More
Last
money.
season, the NBA clamped
That's
down
what
on
they
some
want.
rules that, for once, would favor the defense and punish
That's
bad
what the
offense.
NBA
One of
wants.
those rules was
Ultimately,
to crack
they
down
want more
on
money.
intentionally baiting foul calls while shooting. And instantaneously,
More people are
players
gonna
across
watch
the
when
league saw a
guys are
massive dip in
doing,
their offensive production.
you know, all the
Some
dribble
fans enjoyed
moves
this
and
change,
breaking
but a
people's
lot of
ankles
players didn't.
because they're
So the
quote
NBA
unquote
loosened
bending the
again, and
rules.
scoring
You know,
shot
like
right back up. Looser rules makes good players
looser
look like great
rules,
players.
whatever
It
you
makes
want to call it.
slightly
You know?
marketable talents into extremely marketable talents. See, you or I could never pull
Yeah,
off
those
this move
guys
without being
just-
called for
they
every
become so
violation in the rule book.
a lot
But we're
more
not
marketable.
In the NBA. And don't get me wrong, not every highlight
a lot
move
more
we see in the
marketable
NBA
players,
is a
that means
violation
more
of some
money for the
rule.
league,
Look at this
because more
madness
people
from
are gonna
Jordan
watch,
Poole
you
right
know?
here. There's a lot going on, and not
More
once
people are gonna
does
watch,
he
more
travel
people are
or
gonna
carry.
come out to
Here's
watch,
some more witchcraft by Kyrie Irving,
these players
where he
play,
shreds an
and-
entire defense and does it completely clean. It can be done. But when it isn't, most fans in the league as a whole are more than willing to turn a blind eye to it. Because what Allen Iverson proved 25 years ago still remains true to this day.
And a foul will go on Judd Bushler. Lou Canellis is sitting by. What do you got, Lou?
I wanted to add something on Iverson's move. They have called it a number of times here in the league, and that's why the guy's averaging almost 5 turnovers a game, Tom. But also take into account this. That is his signature move, and if he is going to be truly one of the up-and-coming stars that's going to represent the league, they're going to let him get away with it more times than not. You're exactly right. I think that dribble there is a carry every single time he goes to the basket. But, like I said, it's his signature move, and they're going to let him get away with it.
Well, I guess we should be saying thanks, Iverson. Thanks, Allen Iverson, for that. Let me know what you guys thought about this video. Excuse me, very interesting stuff. Do you think the refs should become more strict when it comes to like carries and stuff like that? Or do you guys like the high scoring offensive game where guys are able to really showcase their talent and showcase what they can do? It can go, you know, there's two sides of it, and I want to know what you guys think. And yeah, I will catch you all in the next one.